Hey everyone, welcome to the studio. Today is going to be a short, gentle workout. So if, like me, you haven't done much over the Christmas holidays, then this is just going to keep us moving or get us moving again and hopefully make us feel a little bit better. So we're going to start on all fours. So hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips, and we're going to come into some cat and cow stretches. So try and roll through your spine from the bottom of your spine all the way through to the top. And we're going to come into a cat stretch first. So we're going to start to lift the lower back and the mid back and the upper back, and the head drops down. So you're in a nice big cat stretch. And then think from the tailbone, so the very bottom of the spine, lengthen the tailbone away, and then the lower back drops down, and then the mid back, and then last of all, lift your head. Keep pushing through the hands. So you're pressing down into the floor, and then again, we're going to start at our tailbone, and we're going to round our back, trying to get a nice smooth movement through the spine. Keep pushing with those arms and the legs. And then uncurl again, and then this is your cow stretch. So we're just trying to get things moving, that's all, nothing too strenuous. And then uncurl again. I'm going to do this a couple more times. So round when you're ready. And then uncurl. And we're going to finish with a cat stretch. So we round again, making that big lift through the spine. Hold it here. And then halfway between those two stretches, come back to that position. And then we are going to come into some leg lifts. So we're going to extend one leg back and just try and keep your pelvis parallel to the floor. And you can slide the leg. So slide that foot back, push back through your toes, keep the pelvis nice and steady, and then lift the leg and lower down and lift. Good. Try not to collapse all your weight into one hand. So make sure you've got even weight in each hand as best you can. Try not to let the hips drop over to one side. So trying to keep them square to the floor as best you can. Do two more. Really think about pushing back through the toes, and then bring that leg in, slide the other leg back and lift. So just being careful not to wobble, and make sure that you gently place that foot back on the mat, so you don't want to hear it thud to the floor. Good. Couple more. And then bring that leg in. I'm going to do the other leg again. I'm going to add in an arm lift as well. So we want to, again, make sure there's no rotation through your chest or through your hips, trying to keep everything square to the mat. And then slide the leg back and reach the arm and lengthen and bring it down. And reach. If you don't want to bring the hand and the knee all the way back in, you don't have to. You can reach and then just lower them down like that. Good. We're going to do three more. Reach out through those fingertips, reach back through your toes. Imagine you're trying to lengthen your body. Good. And then bring them in, and then we do the other side. So extend the leg, extend the arm, and lift and lower. Just be aware that your arm might try and go out to the side. See if you can try and bring it close to your ear as you lift it up. Good. I'm a bit wobbly on this side. You might find that as well. And we'll do one more. And back to center. Good. Bring that arm down, bring your leg back in, and then we're going to come up to sitting. And we're going to take the legs out in front and roll yourself all the way back. So we're going to come into some pelvic tilts and some hip rolls, and then let's just see where it goes from there. So roll yourself all the way down, and then reach your fingertips towards your toes, feet hip width apart, collarbones nice and wide. Think of the backs of the arms just sinking down towards the floor. And then we're just going to close this gap between the lower back and the mat. So gently close that gap, and then come back to your start position. So most of us have a natural curve here in the lower back. So if you do, you're just going to close that gap and then come back. And you might just find it's just a very small curve. We're all different, it doesn't matter. Good. Try and keep the back of the neck nice and long. So make sure that you don't end up kind of looking back behind you. If you need a little cushion under your head, then go and grab one, that's fine, or a little block. Good. So we're going to take that into some hip rolls. So we're going to come into that little pelvic tilt position. So we close the gap, and then we're going to roll up, lifting the hips up, and then rolling down. And it might not be much of a roll, might feel a bit like a plank at the moment. That's all right. Do what you can. Try to think about keeping your hips level. So you don't want one up and one down. Just try and keep them as level as you can. Don't worry if you can't. Important thing is we just need to keep moving. It's what we're designed to do. Good. Press down through your feet. Try and press down through your toes a little bit as well. And then we're going to come back to our start position. We're going to bring our feet together and our knees together. And then keeping our left hip still, we're going to try to just bring this right knee out to the side. So I roll to the side of my foot, and then I'm going to bring the leg back in. Make sure you're breathing. And try not to let this left leg, it might want to drop out to the side a little bit as well to compensate. But try and keep the knee pointing straight up to the ceiling. Try and keep this left hip as steady as you can. So you don't want it to lift up. You don't want to go with it. You're going to try and resist that temptation. So let this knee drop down and then bring it back up. And we'll do two more. So your knee might not move all the way down to the mat. Just wherever it ends up is okay. And then we're going to do the other side. You can keep your hands on your hip, or you can keep it by your side. Either is fine. So you're going to keep this right hip still now, and the left knee drops towards the floor. And just like when we were doing our arm and leg lifts, you might find that one side, the knee can move a lot more freely, or it might be stiffer. And everyone is a little bit one-sided. Just be aware of it, and we can work through it in other exercises. And we'll do one more. And then back to center. And then we're going to come into some leg lifts. So again, we're trying to keep the pelvis as still as we can. So the two hip bones, the pubic bone, are on the same plane. And then we're going to lift one leg up and then lower it down, keeping the pelvis as still as you can. Try to lift from the top of your leg. So rather than lifting just from your knee, try and move the whole leg up and then bring it down. And then if you want to make it a little bit harder, then we can start to add in a leg extension as well. So we lift the leg up and then extend the leg forward so the leg straightens, the foot stays at the same height the whole time, and then bring it back and down. So whichever feels better for you today, so we can lift up and you can lower it down from here, or extend the leg forwards, bring it back and down. So lift up, extend, bend and down. So we can time these movements with our breath, but for now, I just want you to just think of breathing. So just make sure you're not holding the breath. And do one more. And then you might want to stick to that exercise, or you can start to add in both legs coming off the ground at the same time, but it's a little bit trickier to keep the pelvis still when we do that. So just see how it goes. So I'm going to bring one leg up, and then I'm going to bring the other leg up, and then I'm going to lower them down one at a time. Lift the other leg if you can, and then down and down. Good, last one. And back to center. And then we're going to come into some chest lift. So we're going to lift the arms, so just above our hips, and then tuck your chin in and peel the spine up, and then roll down. So lift the arms, lift the head and chest as if you're going to look towards your belly button, and then roll yourself down. Do two more. So you all know I'm rubbish at counting, so don't rely on me. If I say two more, it might be one, it might be two, it might be three. Could be anything really. So if you definitely want to do the number I say, make sure you count yourself. And then we're going to come into the 100. So if you felt okay lifting both legs up like this, then do that again and have both legs in tabletop. If that felt a bit tricky for you, then you can keep your feet on the floor and just leave them here, and that's fine as well. So I'm going to lift my legs into tabletop, and I lift the arms, lift my head and chest. I'm going to pump the arms. I'm going to inhale for a count of 5. So that's 5 beats of the arms, and then exhale for a count of 5 beats of the arms. So we would normally do that for 100, but we won't today. I'm just going to do it for a few, see how we go. So just think of this as a nice, easy breathing exercise. We'll do 2 more sets. And then fully exhale and bring the knees into the chest, roll yourself down, take the feet back down, straighten the legs. We're going to come into our leg circles. So if your legs feel a bit tight, you can do this with a bent knee, but otherwise take the leg up towards the ceiling. We start with our right leg. We're going to keep this left hip nice and steady, and then we're going to go across the left leg, down, out to the side, and back up to the top. So across, down and around, keeping that left hip as still as you can, and try and keep the right leg straight if you're doing it with a straight leg. Last one in this direction, and then we're going to go out to the side, down and around, reaching the leg as long as you can. And one more. And then hold the leg here, hold the back of the leg and just circle the ankle. And then the other way. Good. Lower that leg down and then lift your you lift your left leg up, and we're going to do our leg circles again. So your right hip is going to stay as steady as possible. We're going to go across, down and around. Imagine drawing a circle on the ceiling with that left leg, and keep your shoulders relaxed. And the other way, up to the sides and down. Last one. Hold at the top. Hold the back of the thigh or the calf. Don't hold behind the knee. Circle the ankle. Circle the other way. And lower the leg down. Come up to sitting. So if you need to kind of rock a little bit to come up, then do, and roll yourself all the way up. And then we're going to take our hands, so wherever they naturally fall, really, somewhere between your hips and your knees. And then we're going to try and lift our hips up and bring our hips towards our heels, and then lower the hips down. So you should feel a nice big shoulder stretch here. So just hold it here. And then wrap the arms around. Look towards your belly button, and we're going to go into rolling like a ball. So you can have your hands here as well if you need to. Feels a bit too constricted at the moment to have them here, then just place them just behind the thighs. So keep looking towards your belly button, make your back nice and round, and then rolling back and rolling up. Find your balance at the top, and again. And try to keep looking towards your belly button. So don't lead the movement by taking your head back. So keep the chin tucked in. Good. And two more. And back to sitting. And then bring yourself back. And we are all finished. So I hope that has got you moving and makes you feel a little bit better. And just drop me comments below, and please like and subscribe. See you soon.